Good morning, everyone. This is a video about ZStyle library for React Native, a utility first styling library based on Tailwind CSS. So the objective of the video will be to reproduce this Twitter profile page. Quite a lot to do, so I will go fast to make this video as short as possible. Hopefully you will pick it up, and I will make shorter videos to explain a little bit more about the library later on. We have a lot to cover, so let's get to it. So ZStyle, a utility first styling library. Going to the docs, you have a short introduction to the library. Here, what I'm interested in is in installation page. First, we need to create our project. So I see into my app folder, React Native init, Twitter demo. Let's get created. It should take 30 seconds or so. There you go. Seed into the project, seed Twitter demo. Here you go. So first step to install the library itself. Second step to create the ZStyle config file into the root of your project. Here you go. I will need for this demo, to get the icon that I have in there, I'm using React Native icons, vector icons. Where is it? Here you go. You need to link the library to the native code. Alright, this is a bug I encounter with the latest version of React Native, which is 0.56, if I believe. So I went to GitHub, finding this little fix, remove the node modules, clear the cache, and reinstall it. Apparently the issue comes with this file iOS install third party. Okay. And it should be good to go. Great, so let's cd in there, and code. Here you go. So this is a totally new React project, nothing touch except that I have installed two libraries, React Native vector icons and React Native ZStyle, of course. And also added the ZStyle config file. I'm not going into the detail, but this is the location where you can create components. We'll go back to that later on, and where you can access all the customizable utilities, colors, font sizes, weight, border radius, margin padding, etc., etc. And basically, so all this comes by default, by default with the library, but everything is customizable in there. If you want to change the naming, you want to change the colors here itself, the sizes of the margin, padding, etc. This is up to you. Next, what I'm going to do is to run the project itself. And while we're doing so, I'm going to. So I have an asset file prepared with the profile data for the Twitter profile. It will be easier for the code and the ZStyle logo in there. And to drop to the root of my project. Here you go. Next, should take long. So this is all the chunk that you get when you start your project with React Native. I'm going to clean up a little bit, but first I just want to wait for it to work in the beginning. So ZStyle libraries, I have my vector icons set up. You have my helper file, logo. Should be good to go. Just give it the time. Package manager, launching. So in the asset file I mentioned, so I just have helpers object in there. For the navigation bar, I have my navigation item with the name of the icon and either it is active or not, which will help to know which one should be in this little Twitter blue. My profile information. Oops. I have only one tweet on my account. Only one followers, which is myself, with myself. The links, tweets, tweet reply, major likes, and the actions under every single tweet. So this is it. Going back in there. Are we started yet? No. Oh, build succeeded. That's a good sign. Here we go. So this is the starter of this project. Let's go. So removing the style, removing. See, I have no idea what is this about. Let's remove everything. So in terms of library, I will import obviously React Native ZStyle, but also React Native vectors icon, simple line icons, great icons, simple. So from ZStyle, so we'll use the Z view, which is a view, text, image, and touchable opacity. Here you go. Can get rid of all of this. So our first ZStyle component, Z component, which is the Z view, obviously. Using the ZStyle props to access all the utilities in the background as well as from this configuration file. First of it will be the flex1 utility, which enables to take the entire space of the screen, making it background blue, just to show you that it's properly working. Here you go. I'm just reproducing the example from the documentation. Hello, ZStyle. So you have it in there. If I want to center it, items, center, justify, center. Here you go. Give a little style to the text. A little bit bigger. Text to Excel, and I want it in color white. Here you go. As simple as that. So now let's get started with the Twitter page to create. So we will have this header section, we will have this profile section, the content with the various links, and the navigation bar. So let's start going back here. Remove this one. So the background will be, for the entire screen, will be this gray here. Background gray, lighter I believe. Yeah, not enough. So this, I think we can call it. So I'm going just to demo quickly the component part of ZStyle. So as things can get quite busy when you add up utilities on one line, you have the possibilities to shorten it with components. So let's call this one container. If I go back to my ZStyle file, you have this component object here where you can add all your components. So your code is one place, more organized, and you work like component like into your file. Here I get the exact same thing, but now it's a bit more clearer. Where am I? Where I am. So let's start with the header. That view. It's time. So here it will be H120, I believe. Let's put a BG blue for now. Background blue. 120. Is it a bit? 160 maybe. Yeah, better. So here you go, you have your first container. I'm not a big fan of the blue is the blue by default provided with library, but actually we need a Twitter blue, so it's time to demo your first customizable utility going to Twitter. Right, I'm already connected. SpaceX, okay. So I already have the blue in there, but so this is ColorZilla I'm using to pick up the color. You just click that, take the color in there. I take the X value of it, going back to the project, ZStyle. Then here in the project, wherever you want, blue Twitter. Here you go. So now I have my new color available to all backgrounds, borders, text. And it was blue Twitter, but apparently not blue Twitter. Blue Twitter, so it's good. Background blue Twitter. Here you go. So now I have my blue Twitter versus this one, so it's slight change, but here you go. This is how you can add customizable colors. So I have my header. Next, let's work on the navigation, shall we? Yeah, so what I forgot is to add my assets. So import navigation items, profile, links, action from my assets file, which is right here. Navigation items, profile, links, and actions. So let's start, let's continue with the navigation for now. So I'm creating an overview. That view, yes, is going to be the container of it. And basically, I'm going to map over the navigation items. Yeah. Map, item. There you go. Item that touchable opacity. Surrounded by the text always for an icon, so we can customize the color. So the name will be the item.name. Size will be 25, I believe. We get something in there. Yeah, so here you go. We have our 4 icons, and we need a key into it. Item.name will be sufficient for what we do. Okay, no more warning. Now, so first step, let's get this little guy at the bottom. How to do so? So I take the view container here, in absolute position, pin X means left 0 or right 0 to stick the container in there, pin bottom, background right. Let's see how we go here. Here you go. So this is not bad at all. And then I want all this little guy to be in row, so I'm going to use flex throw and items center, or maybe not items center for now, but so justify around. Okay, little bit of height, 80 maybe, yeah, good enough. And a little padding top of 10. Yeah, perfect. Here you go. Then I want to style the color. So there's going to be a conditional color that we are going to create right now. Let color, so item is active, text blue Twitter, and text gray darker. Oh, so I believe that we are good on this one. Not bad at all. So here is no navigation menu. Obviously you would use something like correct navigation for something like this, but for the sake of the demo, it's not the purpose, so I'm just doing it this way. Then, so we have our navigation bar. So let's start with all the profile information now, which is going to be below this little guy. So here we have our container. Here we have our, let's call it header. Try to make it as clean as possible. There you go. And we will have our navigation. There. You can see it can get quite messy easily. I'm totally fine with it, but just to show the capabilities of this components object, I'm just doing it. Doesn't change anything, and at least you know where you're going. So here we know it's all related to the navigation inside the global container, and we have our header there. So just below, let's create another view and start the profile. So the profile will be background white all along. Okay, why not? So let's add the profile icon as well as the edit profile button in there. So the profile icon is actually an image. I have got right here, so the source will be the profile.picture. Adding some ZStyle with the width of 80 and the height of 80. And it full. Doesn't add up. Okay. Okay. I cannot add it directly in there. So I have my Z image done. Then in this, with this little guy here, what I want to do is a little padding, so and make it with margin negative, as you can see there, to make it on top of the header. So to do margin negative, margin top, so minus margin top of 20, I believe, will be sufficient. Here you go. Uh, 30. I believe 30 is the right thing to do. Okay, so 30, but as you can see, you have a little padding around in there. So to reproduce that, we're going to use the container. Make it a little bit larger. So yes, here I put 80 for the image. If you look at the width and the height, yeah, sorry, yes, this is a mistake. I should have 85 here already, but let's add it up on the height as well. Going back there. So with 85, height 85. And BG white. Yeah, here you go. It's rectangular, so this is where I want it full. Here you go. Item center, justify, center. Ah. So we have our logo in there. Let's add the profile button, which actually is the touchable. We need an action on it. It's just a Z text inside. Edit profile. There you go, beautiful. So let's wrap the whole thing into its own container. To be able to put it on the same line with FlexFlow. Justify between, I believe. Yeah, here you go. The text is itself would be text by the font medium for now. Text blue footer. Okay, good enough. For the button, so we'll have a border of 1. There you go. I think I need to put some height and width to this little line. Yeah. Just opening marks on this. Yeah, good enough. 20 on width. Justify center. Center. Border blue Twitter. And round it full as well. Here you go. Good enough. A bit of margin top. Okay, done for this part. Next will be all this content here. So quite a lot to do. We have the alias, the username, the about phrase, location, website, date of joining, and following part. One follower of ZStyle is myself. Which is a bit sad at the moment, so if you want to follow, don't hesitate. Right, so let's put it all in its all view. So we will have profile.alias, profile.username, profile.about. Sorry. Here you go. what do I miss? We're going to start styling this one first and go further. So text to Excel, I believe. Font semi-bold. Text blank. Don't remember which one it was. So going to the font weights, which are here. We can try extra bold just to see how it looks. Go. Why not? Let's look into it. Text black, etc. Then this one will be text base, maybe gray, darker. Why not? This one will be text base. Here you go. A bit of space. This one. Maybe. Yeah, here you go. Next will be about the links. So we will have 2 icons and 2 links in there. Let's get started. Icon, which will be for the first one, location pin, is it? If you remember well, yeah, here you go. And there's the text for the profile location. Here you go. Let's wrap the whole thing into touchable opacity. I believe there is an action linked to it. Okay. Let's put it in it. And it's online flex row. Okay, great. Text gray. Darker. Fifteen is enough. Let's say it's fine. Text base in there. Text blue Twitter. Items center. Does it make a difference? Sure. Command 5 and 10 for this one. This one won't be necessary. The logo here will be a link. And that's the website. Great. So I just need to put all thing into its online. Here you go. A little bit of space on the top, I believe. Yeah, maybe 20, margin top 20. Make it 10 to see how it looks. If it's enough. Yeah, good enough. Great. Next, these 2 little guys here. So icon, this I believe is not an action. You can just get this one. So this one will be calendar. Joined. Gray, darker. Flex row. There you go, and a little bit of margin top. Good enough. And for this one, there is no icon, so we can get rid of this. So here we are talking about profile dot following, I think, for the first one. Yeah. So this one will be font semi traits, semi bold maybe, medium. Like in terms of color to make it stand out a bit more. Yeah, good enough. Here you go. Some no action related here, so just put it there. Followers, margin in there. Great. So we've got our header in there. Now about the links. Okay. Profile. Picture. So what I wonder is how do I keep it this as a profile container and then start content container put into there. That could be a good idea, I think. So I can take this one, call it profile, going back in there. Okay. And starts a completely new component. Okay, so let's start first with the links. So just to remember, let's call it content in there, and this one will be so. So I have my link subject from my sets, links.map link. So it's basically the same story than before. The text, link name, put a key in there. Link name. There you go. Okay. Content again, background white. Padding top of 20, maybe. Good enough. So, going into that, so obviously flex row into this one. Justify between around. Not sure. It should take. Let's stay with this one for now. Then, so on the design, we have a color and a border to take care of. So first, border of the container. border bottom one. Here you go. As you can see, the border of the button itself is sticking to the border of the container, therefore it is the text here, the padding of the text that will lead the space that you can see. So we can have a nice thing. So let's make two variables for the color. Attractive. Text, Twitter, Twitter. And for the border color, because even if you don't have even if you have no border in there, just to make sure it's aligned, you need to put the same border width in there, but in transparent color, to make sure that everything is centered properly. So for a border color, so same principle. So only the color is part of the variable. Border. Oh, sorry about that. Border trans. Here you go. So style. Border color. Obviously. Border bottom 3, I believe. And the text color. Of course, text base. Here you go. I believe they are font major, maybe. Yeah, good enough. Okay, then, so let's give a little bit of padding to that. Here you go. So it's here, I didn't know if it is between. Okay, good enough. So I have my link. We'll go back to that just to show you, to showcase the fact that all the Z components we've seen there, you are able to use any props from the initial components from React Native. So we'll add the on-press feature. Just after that, let's get done with the rest of the design first. So what is left is the tweet. My first tweet, the first tweet of this style here. So, so let's call it. Do I keep it in the contents container? Yeah, why not? So here I have my link property. Links. Can put in there. Content. There is no real convention, is whatever makes you comfortable in there. So I have my links. Okay, great. So then, here you go. So ZStyle PL20 right. So I have the image to put back. Profile dot picture style with 80 will be sufficient. Height 80. A bit too big. 60 maybe. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, about the PL20 actually, I'm not sure. Let's leave it like that for now. It's a bit less, but we can fine tune later. Change the picture. Let's make the content first. Okay, so I have my image. I'm very happy about it. Next, okay, let's put the image in its own container. Okay, so we need some manipulation of the picture later on. Okay, so we have the top content first, which will be about the profile alias, profile username with the dots 2012 will be good enough. Okay. Great. Great. Be a bit too close of this one. File here. Okay, great. And the ZStyle in there, all text base. Text, black for the top, great, darker in there. Good enough. A bit of spacing. Font medium. Okay, good enough. Then we have this little to add, which will be actionable. I should put some snippet for that to go much faster because it starts to be annoying. So here I believe the name is arrow down. There you go. Style text. Darker. Then, so if I go to my container in there, let's roll. Yeah. So I need to put the text in its own container, like so. Okay. Justify between. Yeah, because I believe the container space. So if I do obviously it doesn't work. How do I do that? Yeah. Bad. And there you go. Move the border in there. And this little guy here. I have a little bit of space on the right. 20. Let's leave it like that for now. seconds. Sometimes try to change something. Yeah. Okay, great. So this part is done. And let's add it this way. And I believe that this will be the profile.tweet. So I'm going to take the first tweet, the body. Here you go. Almost there. So text based, text black, it's a different shade of black. It's nice, it makes sense. So a little bit of jean top, right, maybe good enough. Leading loose, which is a nice one to have the text a little bit clearer to read. So it's up to you. I'm going to leave it like that. Kind of like it. Okay. Next will be about the actions that I'm going to map for. So it's plain text in terms of objects in there, so quite simple. Like touchable. Yeah, I talk about icons. The text, icon, name, action. Is it name action? May I said? I believe so. Yeah, okay. There you go. So you have this little logo in there, which is great now. So here I'm going to call it action at VM. Make it clear. Flex row, size 15. Text gray, darker. Okay, make it a bit bigger. Too big. Okay. Let's see. Justify. Between. Okay. And that's 20. MY. So what MY10 is putting top and bottom margin at the same time, so you don't need to repeat yourself. Okay, I miss a key, which will be the action itself. Yeah, sorry about that. Action. Okay, here you go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. So I believe we achieve the design that we were looking for. Yeah, quite good. So I don't know what you guys think about it, but I found it quite easy to code with it without having quite styling object or think about it. Everything is ready out of the box. You just have to go and code your own project. Just trying to see if I can make it clearer in there. So this container. I'll let you figure out this thing. Try to put the code on GitHub. Yeah, the last thing I was thinking, the last thing I need to do is to showcase the on-press here, making sure it's working properly. So let's do it quickly. So if I go back to my links here, so this is my links. I'm going to call that. So within the contents, I have my links and I have, what do I call that? Okay, let's call it tweets for now. Just to quickly orientate ourselves in the project. So when you see it like that, container, we still have the header to do for the buttons. Profile, content, links, tweets. So let's do the button quickly. That view, that text, icon. So this one will be arrow left, I believe. I'm not sure. And if I do the other one, should be plus. Okay, so I see the plus, I see the other thing. So in the header, let's put, because I didn't put a safe area, let's put alert on top of padding top of 14. Okay, so my icons are there, great. ZStyle flex row, justify between, and the padding X of 20. Okay. Size of 25, I believe, should be fine. Should be fine. I was thinking, but top of 10. Yeah, perfect. So here you go. In the text white. Is it? What is yes, with a little rounded thing. So how to do this one? Because I don't think I can make it within. So yeah, anyway, I should have an action around it. So I'm not sure it's done. Put it in there. There we go. Okay. ZStyle. Because you have a little bit of a. How did I do in there? Ah, yeah. Okay. I'm going to put a black color but with some opacity, so using RGBA. So I need to add a new column, a new color, yeah. So background, black, opacity 50. So obviously this color doesn't exist. So I need to create it. Going back to the ZStyle. RGBA. So I want to take this black as a reference next to RGB. There you go. And I want 50% opacity. So by doing so, I can't find RGBA. Right. There you go. So you have a little bit shady color. So if I put it in one, it's black. Putting it this way, like this little color. It's not exactly what Twitter has done, but it will be good enough for this demo. Now let's put a little bit of padding. Or no, with the 88. active height 80 40. Okay, good enough. Item center, justify center. Here you go. Indeed, to make it round. Good enough. Maybe this little guy here. Little bit of margin. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit more centered. Margin 4. Yeah, and let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah, okay, good enough. I have my 2 action button in there. So I believe now the design part is done. Let's go do the unpress event on the links. Add these 2 utilities to the header. There you go. Great. Container, header, profile, content, links. So this is what I'm interested in. Great. So let's add an on-press event in there. Function this dot link clicked, and I'm going to pass the name of the link, obviously, to know what is going on. Okay. Link name. Here you go. Nice. What I want to do actually is not using directly the links, but make a state of it. State links. Links. I believe that's good enough. Yes, and I need state this dot state. Here you go. Still have the same, but now I have it in my state. So let's get it done from here. Dot state dot please map be not map. Yeah, map, because you're supposed to send back the same. So return link dot name equal link name. So link name equal to link dot active equal to else link dot active equal false. This dot set state. Not sure if I made a mistake in there, but and here you go. I put back the new modified array into that. Wait. Link dot name equal link name that I have in there. Dot active equal to yeah, and return link like so. Let's see if it works. Here you go. I'm going to do the whole thing and change the content of it, but you see the thing is that you can use any props in any Z components. From the initial components, it's working out of the box, I believe. If any bug, let me know, and we'll try to figure out how to fix it. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.